Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the Virgo channel. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. 4th of July weekend wait, is it 4th of July weekend? What day is it? You're gonna think I'm crazy. It's only Tuesday, but it feels like it's the 4th of July or that it's about 4th of July weekend. I don't know why. You know what? It's so weird. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. For those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, rules could be reversed. Just interpret the message as the best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So, I like to look at the spiritual blockages, the shadows, and see how they play as karmic themes to help you understand why a person's doing what they're doing, why you would be attracting someone that does what they do, and what is the whole spiritual significance. The reason why is because the majority of time we're dealing with the karmic, unfortunately, but the type of karmic that I'm talking about is the past life karmic. All relationships are karmic because karmic just means learn. However, the karmic that leaves negative karmic consequences, like taking us off our path, making us feel unworthy, giving us actually baggage. Really, that's what happens when you go through an experience with somebody that is continuously triggering you, does things like to gaslight you, manipulate you. Obviously, they come from a lower vibration. Well, they have the potential to really do psychological and emotional harm, and that trauma plays out as karmic themes. So, when we understand how we contribute to the imbalances, we're really able to shape shift our situation, really, because there's many different realities that play in at one time. So it really depends on what you do. And unfortunately, a lot of people are stuck in karmic loops of not really knowing what they do. They just do what they do. And they're like, I don't know, I treat people the way I want to be treated. Sometimes when we treat people the way that we want to be treated, we want to be treated really well by a stranger, right? Somebody that really hasn't been in our life, but we can might see the potential of who they can be, but they're not really that person. So remember, everyone's sense of love is how much they give is going to be different. And so if we're someone that is like going to give to our level and we haven't gotten, well, we're going to overgive and not really be aware that we are overgiving of our time, our energy, our focus, our money. We're overdoing it because, hey, that's what we would want for someone to do for us. However, if we're really balanced, we don't need anyone to do it for us. And so when you don't need anyone to do it for you, you walk differently. And so understand, usually we're not attracting a person into our life that has a lot of spiritual blockages unless we too are spiritually blocked. All right. So, I always like to talk a little bit before I jump into the reading. I never know what the conversation is going to be about. And clearly, I never know what day it is. Anyway, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box. Okay. That means my group shadow healing coaching program link, which is going to be on Vidme, which is on Vidme. We're launching in July. I know that for a fact. My page is already up, looking really good. Um, I love this platform because it's a win-win-win. It's in alignment with spiritual law. It's what's best for everyone involved, even you. If you do the coaching, it's only $35 a month. But you don't just get my stuff, you get hundreds of other people's stuff. You can make money on it if you want to, again, share the platform. You can actually establish an income for yourself. There's many different, if you need a platform to teach on, or you want to share your knowledge, whatever it is. I mean, this platform is a combination between YouTube, Netflix, and Mind Valley. You can't beat it. is that they're putting a lot of paywalls inside our pages, and paywalls just lead to, our website, to our different classes. So again, it's just they're helping us content creators make a living. And we need all the help that we can get, because who wants to pay for someone that does creative stuff, right? A lot of people don't. They don't think that is important. However, it is important because it's an affordable way for you to do healing, and that's really what it is. It's a cheaper way to do counseling. Now, I'm not saying that you should do this over counseling, but a lot of people don't want to invest in counseling. They're like, oh, it's such a commitment. You know, it's like I have time to like figure out what this is, and they literally come to YouTube, whether the therapists want to believe it or not, whether they care, whether they don't. I'm sure that they're like, well, they're stupid, but the truth of the matter is, sometimes it's us YouTube people that inspire people to go get therapy or go do deeper healing into themselves. But a lot of times people don't need therapy, they need spiritual healing. And there is a difference. Spiritual healing is when we need to like healing of the soul, and when we are in toxic relationships and around toxic people, well, that's when you really need to actually attend to the soul and spirit. I mean, confidence is something that if you're spiritually healthy, well, then you have a high confidence. If you don't, then you're not going to have confidence and then you're not going to be able to manifest anything. So I always say spiritual health, and spiritual health is emotional and psychological, but it addresses the soul, what the soul needs. And the soul needs to be in alignment with the laws of love. And when we hate ourselves or when we reject parts of ourselves, well, then we've created shadows and we've detached from those parts of ourselves. So we're down here for a greater purpose. And that's to learn that we're not separate from God through source. And that's through seeing our life through a different perception. However, if you keep on dating the same type of people and you keep experiencing the same thing, then what happens is there's a real belief that you can't manifest, but you can. You just have to do it a different way a lot of times. A lot of times we get stuck in thinking that we know how we're going to deal with the situation, but we really, like I said, we need to wait for the moment. Why I say that is because only in the now do you get divine guidance. When you come from yourself and you're wounded, you're going to have habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with those wounds, and that's going to prevent you from actually manifesting. However, if you are, like I said, healed, you're not going to do that. You're going to come from a real true sense of self, from your real self, your true self, your higher self. And the higher self is that God part of self, and that wants the best for you, and knows that you can have it. Why would you want to live at any other consciousness? But we get caught up in believing that no, this is the level of consciousness because in the moment in time where we are. It's the perception. And it's the perception a lot of times is based on not what's happening now. It's what did happen or what could happen. So remember, it's all about helping you come back to the moment to connect you to your higher self, because that's what the universe does. The universe is always bringing you people, situations, and experiences that are showing you where you need healing. That's the whole point. When we don't like what's happening in our outer world or within our relationships, we have to say, what kind of relationship are we having with ourselves? What are we doing for ourselves? And that's hard. Sometimes, again, we say, oh, I can't afford it, I can't do this. We always make excuses, but we can do other things to change our perceptions, to change our mindset, right? All right. Now let's see what the word of the video is. The word of the video is Maliciousness. Obviously, for all that talk about karmic and negative karmic. Well, maliciousness. I'm feeling one thing automatically. I feel like your person's definitely stonewalling you right now, and they're doing it purposely because they're angry. And they're angry because you're holding them accountable. It's again, so they're like neglecting you, but they're really self-neglecting themselves as time goes by. And that's really why they're mad too. Because this person's mad, you're holding their feet to the fire. And the thing is, if they want to talk to you ever again, they're going to need to talk to you. They don't want to talk to you because, again, their pride, their ego. And I feel like every time they try to talk to you, they get this energy like you're very polite, but it's very cold. There's like this prudence energy, which is it's not that you're not by your silence and your coldness like this, then this person has to look at what they did. They want to talk to you. So have reached out to you a few times, and I feel like it was no grand gesture, but it's like because this person doesn't really even know how to approach you. And so I feel like their game's caught up with them. Their game's caught up with them. That's really what I'm feeling. It's again, and why I say that is that we see we disrespected where again abandoned, so this person like just did what they wanted to do. They were in your life, they acted as if they cared about you, but they just didn't really take, I want to say, didn't put your feelings into consideration. They knew what type of relationship that you would actually entertain. And they said yes, that this is the, or it made it seem like that they wanted the same type, and they didn't want any of that. And so again, the act as if they don't care. And part of them acting as if they don't care was, was a lie and also an illusion to again make you a scare tactic so that you would again not really say anything. So you would just kind of put up with it. And so that's really what I feel like. I feel like this person wanted a relationship, knew the only type of relationship that they were going to like enter into was the kind that they wanted to, which was a non-monogamous one, a one where they could pretty much come and go whenever they wanted to. They knew you wouldn't enter into a relationship like that. But I feel like they again lied, created the illusion, and then disrespected you. So this is why you're cold to them. And this is why they are like, well, I don't really even want to approach you because, again, they're embarrassed. And they're like, they don't really want to take ownership for how they treated you. To be honest with you, that's why I feel like they're mad because you're holding them accountable. Like, you wanted me to be like faithful to you. You wanted me to be like married to you, or you wanted to tell me what to do. Like where you're like, I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying any of that. See, they can't twist your words. They can't they can't do anything because you're silence. See, and that's really what it is. It's like if they ask you a question, you're polite, you answer it, but it's you're not going to give this person any extra. You're not going to. And so this person stays in a place of neglecting themselves. And the reason why is because hey, they don't want to give anything. There's a part of this person that wants you to be submissive to them, right? Which it's everything about what they want, which makes you feel like constrained, like you're putting me in this box where you're meant that it was giving up too much of your individuality. Like, what means something to me? Giving up too much of your power. Like it's a one-sided relationship. I'm not really living if half the time I'm waiting for you to show up. This person didn't want to be monogamous, but they didn't want to say that because they knew that you would never date them. And also almost like this person just like it's being with them, you're like wind up being very consumed with them because they emotionally don't give anything, where all their drama of coming in and out. Now, you may say that they're not deliberately trying to create drama, but they create a situation that begins by being very imbalanced because it starts with a lie. Because they knew the whole time that you would have never been in a relationship with someone that comes in and out. That does that. It's a one-sided relationship. You would have never did that. But this person's ego, they kind of like when people are consumed with them, like I said, because of drama. It creates drama because the person doesn't create the emotional stability. And then they act like they're unaware of what they do, when meanwhile they're getting a lot of attention from a lot of other people. So it's very draining, is what it was. It's like you never really felt like you were in a serious connection with this person. Like, yes, they were in your life. Yes, you knew that they were attracted to you and that they cared about you, but they never really let you in, is what it always felt like. Because they would always be talking to somebody else or getting attention to someone else. And, you know, like I said, and then on top of it, just the way that they are not giving that much. They're giving the bare minimum, which is why you're giving the bare minimum. It's like they've reached out to you, but like I said, not enough where you would be open. So you're giving them the same exact energy that they're giving back, that they're giving to you, and they're pissed off about it because the relationship isn't going anywhere. They expect the relationship to just happen on its own with them putting in absolutely no effort. And this is normally how they play. And you're like, yeah, you felt like when you were in a relationship, like that you're powerless. Because if you show this person that you have feelings for them, almost like then it's like then they really don't feel like they need to do it. And then if, you don't say anything to them, they still don't do it. So you're pretty much powerless. You don't have, because you can't make someone do something that they don't want to do. And then on top of it, when you do say something, they withdraw. So they're in avoidant. So they clearly know emotionally that you're not getting enough. And they strategized a way to come in, to be in this connection, to have a one-sided connection. And their whole thing is like, yeah, I'm not going to really give you what you want, but you're going to be so consumed with me. Because emotionally, I never am going to really give you that much. It's like I'm going to withdraw every time it gets difficult. Anytime that I have to say anything, and really, like, you just had enough of their abuse because you realized what it was, that this person had lied, that they never really wanted a monogamous relationship. Yes, they were attracted to you. Yes, they were passionate about you, but they weren't giving up their ways. They wanted you to submit to like the way that they were living without really, without being honest, obviously. And so what does this person do? You're like, how come they don't apologize? How come they seem like they don't really even have a conscience? Well, they don't, because they're checked out. The type of person that comes in to a relationship and deliberately lies, again, knows, oh, you want this type of relationship and I don't really care. I'm going to trick you into giving me what I want. Well, that's going to be someone that's on a lower vibration, someone that has a lot of spiritual blockages, that is full of anger, that's full of anger, is what I'm feeling. Now, yes, there are a lot of people out there that do that. But there's also a lot of people that are still walking around that are fragmented, and that's it. So it's again, and part for you, like there were red flags right from the beginning. You just didn't have the awareness. You just didn't have the awareness. Like I think that again, this person was very charming. They have narcissistic tendencies, so you can really fall in love with them because they're charismatic, they're fun, that. And that, so like you fell in love with their potential. You fell in love with who you wanted them to be, but not who they are, is what I feel. So again, and I also feel like this person is very childish. So it's again, they're childish. They just again anytime. So you're in a relationship with someone that was so immature. They're so immature and somebody that, they focus more on the physical than the, emotional. So their way is to come in real fast, like I said, and, have more like have an affair, have a fling. And, the relationship tends to be very shallow. So this again is all about this is how this person navigates. So again, the that you not falling for it, you knowing how this person operates and you're holding back, like again, the relationship isn't moving. And so they're pissed off because now they're consumed with you because they can't control this situation. And they're in a place where they're like, oh my God, it's like you walking away really like triggers them. Again, they have a lot of blockages when it comes to love. So they're not honest. They have like again a lot of issues. And by you not entertaining this, well, it's like you said, this person, I feel like they thought that you would, and then on top of it, the fact that you're not, this person is not like they don't have feelings. It's that they're fragmented. So they want a one-sided connection. And the thing is, so like they can't come in bullshitting. They can't come in because you already know. You're already watching. And so this is what's pissing them off. Usually they sit back. They manipulate people to do most of the work. And then, before you know it, you've invested your time. You've emotionally got caught up. You're not emotionally getting caught up in this person. Again, they're getting consumed in you because, again, all this manipulation of trying to get you to do, and you're not doing it. It's like because you see right through them. So what happened is they caught feelings. They weren't expecting to catch feelings. So, but realize the universe is utilizing you to awaken spiritual blocks within this person. So, of course, they're going to be angry because you bring up a lot of like negative feelings because of it. So, there's a sense of them wanting to control. And again, do it by sweeping you away with romance and ignoring the emotions. So, again, it would be like a fling where and I feel like the longer that time goes by, the more comfortable you're getting with this person really not being in your life. And what they're realizing is that they wasted a lot of time. And the reason why is because they can't figure out how to get over. Like you're not going to lose yourself in the romance because again, that's how this person normally operates. They create a lot of illusions but it's again, everything is sugar coated. Everything is again, they'll wine you, they'll dine you, they'll take you out, they'll make you feel so special. But this person's a stab in the back. It's like they do it again until you feel safe, and then they go about doing what they want to do. And this person didn't want to be monogamous. They never wanted to be monogamous. I feel like you saw, at first you didn't know and you entertained it. And then once you saw it, you were like, oh no. And that's why this person is pissed off because they're like, well, if I come back to you, I actually have to apologize. And I don't really want to do that. They don't want to apologize. They want what they want. It's like, because again, being with you, they would actually have to do the work and they have blockages. They have, again, like a pain, baggage that they don't want to heal. So again, their way is to be dominant and have people consumed with them through sex, through physical, through emotional manipulation. I mean, intermittent manipulation. This person comes in and out, the constant never showing up for you on an emotional level, not showing up when you need this person. There's abandonment all the time. This person is very, very secretive. They're very secretive, and like I said, all through the reading, they don't look to change. Even the last card that I pull is again like look for the hidden intentions, like beware illusion, depth, that there is no depth, like that this person will pretend that they want it, but they don't really want that. They want you, but they don't want the relationship. So again, that's a bad type of relationship, in my opinion. So again, I feel like the rose-colored glasses came off. It did actually push you into a spiritual awakening because this person runs from their problems. They don't want to look at it. They're avoidant and they create obstacles that are unnecessary. So that's how this person operates. And I feel like you just got tired of it because you see it. And so you have to say, why did you attract this person into your life? Because I don't really see them coming back and doing anything. It's like keep saying the same thing again, that if they come back, it's more of the same. It's like, and that's why they're mad. They can't do it. That's why they were pissed off because they were like, I can't just, come in and sweep you off your feet because you know all my little games, you know all my tricks, which is like not a good way to be. And so we have to say again, why did you attract this person into your life? Look, isolation, card number one. Card number two is abuse. Card number three is safety and security. Number three is belittled. Number four is resilience. Card number five is truth. I think that's five. What is that? One, two, three, four, five, six. Six. All right, that's it. So again, we look at the inner child wounds always because you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. And what we see is again that these cards are, you know, no safety and security. You didn't feel safe because there was abuse. And I feel like it was psychological and emotional abuse, where again, you didn't know your truth. Were you resilient? Yes. But in order to heal and in order to really succeed in life, you always had to do it alone. So there was a sense of not being able to have love, feel loved, feel like, again, didn't feel loved. So again, you attracted somebody that kind of is abusive in the same psychological and emotional way, where, they don't really care about what you want. They care about what they want. So again, you wouldn't feel safe and secure with a person like that. Someone that only cares about themselves is abusive, and gaslighting, making you feel as if, you're the wrong one, when really spirit says you already know what, because can we always have it a very strong sense of intuition when we grow up in an environment where there's abuse, whether it's psychological or emotional or physical. The mind doesn't know the difference. It just knows it wasn't safe. So understand its job primarily is to seek out anything that corresponds with that trauma, and the habits there, or the fact that you recognize you attracted this type of person, you recognize it, but spirit says, but you also are a truth speaker because you can't grow up in this type of an environment. That's a survival, environment, which creates hypersensitivity, because a child, what do? They tap into their senses to make sure they're safe. It's they don't feel safe. Either they do or they don't. Psychologically and emotionally, they don't really care why, or a lot of times understand why their parent is doing what they're doing or somebody is doing. They're just in survival. And so it heightens the senses. And when we grow up in that type of environment, we really are like empathic, but we're truth speakers. It's again being true to yourself. And I feel like that's what it was. It's like you're resilience, and that's a gift. And so the resilience, it was to be put up be in this environment with this person that continued to get you to do what they wanted you to do, what they wanted you to do. Yeah, I can talk today. Like, where they want you to, you know, uh, be in a one-sided connection, and they don't have a problem with seeing you unhappy, not wanting that. That's a little narcissistic, and to the point that they would make you feel bad if you didn't do it. So I just feel like the resilience of putting up with people that don't have your best interest at hand, that puts us in survival mode. But really, you have strength and gift from growing up that way, is what Spirit was saying, with your senses being heightened, being a truth speaker, being able to be by yourself. I don't think that this person can really be by themselves. Like, you're resilient, you're able to do that. It doesn't would you want to be alone? No, I'm sure you would want to be with somebody, but you don't need it. You're not codependent. You don't need to come in and sweep somebody off their feet to get that emotional kick for yourself. You know how to fill your cup up by yourself, is what I'm trying to get at. This person doesn't. If that's the way they navigate. They don't date one person, they date a lot. They promise everyone everything, and they don't show up for anybody. And the relationship is just empty. It just feeds their ego. And that's really the alternative motive. There is none, except for I want what I want, and I think I should have it. Like, and it's big ego because, hey, I've been getting away with that. So why not you? Only you said no again, and that when you said no, that made them look at themselves, and of course they're pissed off about it. Again, that's how you know that they have shadows, where Spirit says this situation really, again, taught you how to navigate difficulties with calm and acceptance. Be at peace with yourself. It's, again, you had to learn how to go with the flow, even though, like, this person was giving you heartache. I mean, you still had to get up in the morning and go to work. You still had to go, and you didn't let it affect you, which, understand that you might have been somebody that used to be very rattled by what people used to do. Let your emotions take over. Hey, you mastered that. You didn't allow that. It's, again, by you move into the unknown. Open your heart to the new, where true growth occurs. Call to exploration. You need to move into places unknown because you get to see yourself differently. You get to see different things and meet different people, and that makes you see yourself differently. You can't heal in the same place that you got sick. So Spirit's saying, it's, again, if you attracted that person, too much of the old you is still there. Create new psychological memories, create new neurological pathways in your mind by doing different things. you know that's really the only way that you're going to heal, to embody a new consciousness so you don't keep attracting the same thing. Again, and understand that with every wound and every hardship brings a lot of strength. You did like become a pillar of strength. And then Spirit says, understand, like, this is all about you alchemizing. You had spiritual blockages that you needed to integrate. And so once you did, then Spirit says, now you take a leap of faith. It's, again, and take a leap of faith because risks are going to be rewarded. But when you take that leap of faith, you're not bringing any old energy into the new circumstances. You just needed to go through this experience to know your worth, to become aware of certain things about yourself. And really, it's this person. That's why this person's angry. They're pissed off because they know that they can't fix this unless they came to you, like, correctly. And chances are, even if they did, you wouldn't want them. And that's what they know. So that's why they're pissed off. They can't manipulate. They can't change it. They can't do anything. It's the end, and it's the end because you said it's the end, not because they said it's the end. So that's this person's nightmare. Remember, they have abandonment issues. They have their own wounds, which is why they act the way that they do. And so again, you represent their wounds because, hey, you didn't fall for it, which means that they have to eat the karma. And the karma is that, having to look at who they really are and seeing that they lost a good thing, that you're not, that you see right through them. It's embarrassing for them and it makes them mad. And the spirit says this is all was all about you being true again, and you are a true speaker. So spirit says you're true to yourself and others. Remove your mask and stop creating illusions. Have confidence in who you are and reveal the good in you. And do not need to hide or prove anything. Replace shame with the power of love and truth. So this person is not true to themselves. I feel like you are a truth speaker. You don't wear masks. But this is all about being true to yourself when it comes to what you're deserving of as well, because this person could have been a soulmate, like they could have stepped it up, but they chose not to. And because they're not living their best self, you don't have to dumb me down. So I think that this was all about being true to yourself and not settling for less than you deserve. And for this person, is again, what they need to do is they need to take off the mask already and stop creating illusions and just have the confidence in who they are. They did all this and need to run around with so many people and get so many people to fill their cup up because they don't know how to fill their own cup up. And that's because they don't really like who they are. They have to get other people. They have to get a supply, and you were part of that supply, unfortunately. All right, I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.